we are going to hand over the microphone now to the prophet of God, the woman of God that raised up our bishop since he was a drunk 19-year-old young man into becoming a man of God. She's going to pray for our mom and pray for their children and the entire JCC family. Help me by standing up to receive the prophet of God, Reverend Teresia Wairimo. Please clap for her as she comes forward. Let's honor the mother of our bishop, the one who mentored our bishop, the one who raised our bishop, the one who loved on our bishop. What a matriarch she is. Please put your hands together for her.
Thank you very much, Pastor Andrew. You may all be seated. I want to thank God so much for Pastor Kathy and my son who has already gone home to be with the Lord. And as it was said before, Bishop Masinda told me the other day that the hardest thing for any mother is to bury the son. And because every mother would be grateful if the sons were there to bury the mother. I want to thank God for Pastor Kathy and for the life I'm standing to celebrate the goodness of our God. Bishop Allan, my firstborn son, actually he was my firstborn son. He was a man given to prayer. He was a man of faith and great faith. And one of the things I know many of you know him for, he was a very generous man. I remember the first time they ever touched 1 million shillings. They were so excited. They came to my gate and they, Mom, guess what? We got 1 million shillings. We have brought it to you. The first one. Pastor Kathy, I know he who began a good work is faithful to complete it. It is never over until God says so. I met my son in crusading, as you have known that I have been a crusader in this nation. And when he came at the age of 19, the boy was so drunk. Thank you, Pastor Dorcas, for the good job you are doing. The boy was so drunk. But as I said the other day, that sometimes we so easily judge people by the outward appearance. And many people, we want what is made. We don't like making people. But we also know that somehow, somewhere, we were made. Jesus said to his disciples, come to me and I will make you become. So when I met Bishop Allan, I saw the potential. I saw a man of God behind the drunkardness. And I knew that this will be a great man. He will be a nation shaker and a history maker. The same week he got saved, I invited him for a prayer meeting. I had him baptized with the Holy Ghost, started speaking in tongues. In less than a month, we went out, I don't know if it was in Pokot or Turkana. I gave him a microphone to preach. I think he preached for about 3-4 minutes and repeated himself over and again, as we all do. So, and he made an altar call for salvation, and people went, and he's looking at me, his mom, what is this? I said, the same prayer you said. So, a son that I have loved. I remember he so much wanted us to meet in the last month. And just before I went for the mission in the US, I went to see him because he told me there was an urgency that we needed to discuss about something. And among the things he wanted us to discuss, number one was the word faith. The second thing he wanted us to discuss was the word authority. And then he had a dream that his brother, Pastor George, has just shared. So we spent a little time, we talked, and we spoke about the word authority and what God's authority is all about. And I remember he stood up, and I was with one of our ladies in the ministry. And he went to the house and cried and cried and cried for 3 hours. And I'm thinking, this young man think I'm going to wait for him to cry for 3 hours here? So then he came and said, Mom, I'm done. Now we can talk. And he said, Mom, Pastor George gave me a dream. And he told me the dream. And the dream was that I had done a big, big meeting for him. Very, very big meeting, and the meeting was in Karen. Immediately I looked at him and I knew the message was about death. I didn't know what to say and I didn't know what to do. I entered into a panic and I said, son, you know what? I want you to be the first speaker of the annual prophetic conference that we're going to have in the second week of the month of August. And as you know, Pastor Kathy, this man, even on that bed, even when he couldn't talk, he was building himself to come and open the August annual conference as a speaker. Bishop Allan has made me proud for many years. A faithful son, ever there for me. Whatever we would do in his bigger family, fam, he will always be there to make sure that everything is in place. Whatever is needed, both financially, anything, he was always there for me. So he sleeps a son that I greatly loved, and I have known him for very many years. I know my children are here. At a given time, they even thought this was their brother. I have my family with me also, and Bishop was just an amazing. I know him as a great husband to Pastor Kathy, and walking a journey with you, Pastor Kathy, was so amazing. And as you said the other day on Monday, when he brought you, when he came to a stage of getting married, and he brought you home, and I was so excited to see you, although you came in shorts and a t-shirt. And I said, there goes the woman of God who's going to be married to my son. Thank you, Pastor Kathy. I saw the big heart, and I saw the love you had. And I want to thank you, Pastor Kathy, this day before this body is ready to rest. You've been a great wife, a great mother, an inspiration to many, a woman of faith, a woman who never gives up and never takes no for an answer. So we thank God as we celebrate the life. And for you, Vanessa, and your family, I want to thank God so much for you. Shiko, Steph, you are not here with us, but we also want to thank God for you and your family. And of course, my boyfriend, Jeremy, my boyfriend right there, Jeremy. We started negotiating again because he was almost throwing me out. He thinks I'm updated and a bit too old now. So thank you, Jeremy. You're always very special to me and to Dad. So I want to thank you very, very much. I know I have my children, Catherine, Stan, Bob, and Irana. And also, we have representing the White brothers, Pastor Hans, would you stand? He came all the way for this very day. He's an architect, a very good friend, and he just flew in to just be with us. So all the bishop, all the clergy, thank you so very much. I saw so much love on Monday. I couldn't believe the turn-up of all these great men of God, the fathers in faith, and every one of you. Thank you for standing with us during this very difficult time. And I know that on Monday, I desired to have Bishop Jenga, and I know today he's in the house. And I remember I said, Bishop Jenga, you have been such a father to me. And I told people on Monday that I didn't know there were other men of God, because my father only used to speak about Bishop Jenga. I think they called you captain at that time. They called you captain, yeah, as the man of God. And I used to tremble, and I used to love him, and sometimes we'll ride with him and my father. I remember before my father passed on, he took me where he wanted to be buried. And then he told me, don't think you're going to bury me. You talk to Bishop Jenga, and I want him to bury me. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bishop, for burying my own father and for being a family friend to my family. And so today we're going to make a prayer for this wonderful family. So Pastor Kathy